Life has a way of teaching us lessons, but not always the way we expect. We make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are painful. But it's not the mistakes that define us. It's how we learn from them, how we pick ourselves up, and how we move forward. There are mistakes that, looking back, could have been avoided if we had just known better, if we had just been more aware of the deeper truths that were staring us in the face. The first mistake you should have avoided was listening to the voice of doubt, that voice inside your head, telling you that you're not enough, that you can't do it, that you shouldn't even try. We've all heard it at some point, and we've all given into it. But the truth is, doubt is a liar. It convinces you that you're not worthy, that your dreams are out of reach. But in reality, doubt is the greatest enemy of progress. It's the reason people stay stuck in their lives, never taking the risks they need to move forward. The voice of doubt should never have been your guide. The second mistake you should have avoided was waiting for the perfect moment to act. How many times have you put something off, telling yourself, "I'll do it when the time is right"? But there is no perfect moment. The right moment is now. The world will never align itself for you to take the perfect step. The moment you choose to act is the moment that begins to create the future you want. Stop waiting for the ideal conditions and start creating them. Action breeds opportunity, and you missed out on countless opportunities by waiting for the stars to align. The third mistake you should have avoided was neglecting your health, both physical and mental. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you have time. You think, "I'll take care of myself later." You sacrifice sleep for productivity, skip meals for convenience, or ignore stress because it seems manageable. But eventually, it catches up to you. Your health is the foundation of everything. Without it, nothing else matters. You can chase success, wealth, and happiness, but if your body and mind aren't in sync, none of it will bring lasting fulfillment. You should have realized that true success begins with taking care of your most valuable asset, yourself. The fourth mistake you should have avoided was caring too much about what others think. The world is full of opinions, but your life is yours. Yet how many times have you made decisions based on the fear of judgment or the need for approval? You sacrificed your authentic self to please others, thinking that validation from the outside would fill the emptiness within. The truth is, it never does. It only leaves you disconnected from who you really are. If you had listened to your own voice, rather than the voices of others, you would have spared yourself years of frustration and regret. Stop living for others. Live for yourself. The fifth mistake you should have avoided was avoiding failure. Fear of failure is the most paralyzing force in life. We all want to succeed, but failure is the only true path to growth. Without failure, there's no learning, no progress. Yet you tried to protect yourself from failure at all costs, playing it safe and avoiding risks. The reality is, the people who succeed are the ones who fail the most, but they keep going. If you had embraced failure, you would have been stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Failure is not a setback, it's a lesson, and you missed out on its power by running away from it. The sixth mistake you should have avoided was waiting for others to change before you did. How many times have you blamed your circumstances or the people around you for your lack of progress? How many times have you waited for someone else to make the first move, or for the world to shift before you acted? The truth is, change starts with you. You can't control others, but you can control your own actions and reactions. You could have freed yourself from the chains of dependency on others' behavior. If you had recognized your own power to change, you wouldn't have wasted years waiting for someone else to make the move. You were the one who needed to step up first. The seventh mistake you should have avoided was taking your time for granted. Time once lost can never be regained. You kept thinking you had time, telling yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow, I'll change later, or I'll take the leap when I'm ready." But the truth is, tomorrow isn't guaranteed. The opportunities you let slip by today might never come back. Time is the most precious resource you have, and you squandered it on procrastination, fear, and hesitation. Had you understood the value of time, you would have acted sooner. You would have seized the moment. Time is not your enemy. Your inaction is. The eighth mistake you should have avoided was holding on to toxic relationships. There's a strange comfort in familiarity, even if it's unhealthy. We often hold on to people who bring us down, out of fear of being alone or because we think we can change them. But you can't change anyone who doesn't want to change. Those relationships drained your energy, pulled you back into old patterns, and prevented you from growing. You should have walked away sooner, cut those ties, and surrounded yourself with people who elevate you. Toxic people will always take more than they give, and you allowed them to define your happiness for far too long. The ninth mistake you should have avoided was not trusting yourself. How many times have you ignored your gut feeling, your intuition, in favor of someone else's opinion or advice? We live in a world where we're constantly seeking validation from others, and in the process, we lose trust in our own instincts. You had the answers inside you all along. You've always known the right path, but you allowed fear, doubt, and outside influence to lead you astray. Trust yourself. You are the only one who truly knows what's best for you. The more you listen to your inner voice, the more you'll understand your own worth and your true potential. The 10th mistake you should have avoided was letting fear rule your life. Fear is a powerful force. It can paralyze, it can distort, and it can stop you from reaching your true potential. We all have fears: fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. But here's the thing: fear is just an illusion. It's a story we tell ourselves, a barrier that only exists in our minds. You've let it control you for too long, and in doing so, you've allowed it to dictate your decisions, your actions, and your life. You feared taking risks because you were afraid of failing. You feared standing out because you were afraid of being judged. You feared being vulnerable because you were afraid of getting hurt. But what you didn't realize is that the only way to truly live is to embrace fear, not run from it. Fear is not something to be avoided, but something to be understood, faced, and conquered. The more you run from it, the stronger it becomes. The more you confront it, the more you reclaim your power. You could have lived a life of boldness and courage if you had stopped letting fear dictate your choices. These 10 mistakes aren't just things you should have avoided. They're the keys to unlocking a life of freedom, growth, and true happiness. If you had known better, you would have avoided these pitfalls. But you have the opportunity now to start fresh. You've learned these lessons the hard way, but that doesn't mean they're wasted. Now, you have the power to change your story. It's never too late to stop making these mistakes. It's never too late to change the way you live. Every day is a new opportunity to step into the person you were meant to be. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to wait for everything to be aligned. The time is now. The truth is, you've been held back by your own beliefs, by the lies you've been told, and by the mistakes you've made. But you don't have to stay in that place. You can break free from the cycle. The path ahead of you is full of possibilities. But first, you need to leave these mistakes behind. You need to choose courage over fear, action over hesitation, and trust over doubt. It's time to stop looking back. It's time to stop regretting the things you should have done. Now is the time to do the things you've been afraid to do. The mistakes we make are part of what shapes us, but the key to growth is not in repeating them. The lessons we learn are often the hardest, but they are the ones that have the power to transform us. You've lived through these mistakes, but you don't have to continue living with their weight. The power to change lies within you. The greatest mistake of all would be to ignore what you've learned from these experiences. The next step in your journey is to take those lessons, internalize them, and move forward with a new perspective. You don't need to carry these mistakes around as baggage. You can choose to leave them behind. You are not defined by your past mistakes. Your future is yours to create. Each day is a new chance to make better decisions, to act with more purpose, and to align your actions with the life you want to lead. The only thing standing between you and your best self is the belief that you can't change. The truth is, you can. The truth is, you are already enough. You always were. All the lies you've been told, all the mistakes you've made, are part of the human experience. The next step is to embrace them, learn from them, and rise above them. The past does not dictate your future. You can break free from the lies, the mistakes, and the patterns of the past. This is your time to rewrite your story, to step into the person you were always meant to be. The first mistake you should have avoided was listening to that voice in your head, the voice of doubt. This is the voice that tells you you're not good enough, that you're not capable, and that success is for someone else. It is a liar, a parasite that feeds on your insecurities and weaknesses. This voice has been your biggest enemy. The truth is, doubt has never been the thing holding you back. It was always you. You let that voice guide your actions, and in doing so, you shut yourself down before you even gave yourself a chance. You should have stopped listening to doubt, and instead listened to your inner strength. The power to achieve anything lies in your belief in yourself. If you had just ignored that voice and acted despite the fear, you would have discovered the immense potential that's been waiting for you all along. Don't let doubt steal your future. You have everything inside you to succeed. You just have to believe it. Mistake 2. Waiting for the perfect moment. The second mistake was waiting for the perfect moment. The world tells you that you need to wait for the stars to align, for everything to fall into place before you make a move. They tell you that the perfect circumstances will come if you just bide your time. But here's the truth. The perfect moment doesn't exist. If you keep waiting for everything to be right, you'll never take action. You'll keep putting off your dreams, your goals, and your desires, thinking that someday something magical will happen. But you've been lied to. The only perfect moment is now. The only time you need to start is today. It's not about waiting for external factors to fall into place. It's about you deciding to take that first step, no matter the situation. Action, no matter how small, is what propels you forward. Waiting for perfection only keeps you stuck. If you had acted sooner, even imperfectly, you would have been closer to where you want to be. Mistake 3. Neglecting your health. The third mistake was neglecting your health. How many times have you put your well-being on the back burner? How often did you sacrifice sleep for work, ignore your body's signals, or push through exhaustion? Health is the foundation of everything. Without it, nothing else matters. You can achieve all the success in the world, but if your body is broken or your mind is shattered, it's all meaningless. You should have prioritized your health from the start. Your body and mind are your most valuable assets, and you've been taking them for granted. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of life and ignore the signs your body gives you. But the truth is, if you had taken better care of yourself, you would have had more energy, more focus, and more resilience to face the challenges life threw at you. Health isn't something to be sacrificed, it's something to be cherished. Mistake 4. Caring too much about what others think. The fourth mistake was caring too much about what others think. This is a trap that many fall into. The need for approval, validation, and acceptance from others. You sacrificed your own voice, your own identity, just to fit in. You lived your life for the opinions of others, thinking that if they approved of you, you'd be happy. But the truth is, you'll never be happy if you're not being yourself. The only opinion that matters is your own. When you let others dictate your choices, you lose your true self in the process. The real freedom comes from not caring about what anyone else thinks. If you had embraced who you truly are and stopped seeking validation from the outside, you would have lived a life of authenticity. Authenticity is power, and by seeking approval from others, you robbed yourself of that power. Stop seeking validation and start trusting your own worth. Mistake 5. Avoiding failure. The fifth mistake was avoiding failure at all costs. We've all been conditioned to see failure as something negative, as something to be avoided. But failure is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. You've been taught that failure is the end, but the truth is, it's just the beginning. Every successful person has failed countless times before they succeeded. The difference is, they didn't give up. You should have embraced failure instead of running from it. Failure is not something to fear, it's something to learn from. It's the stepping stone to success. If you had faced your failures head-on, learned from them, and kept going, you would have been further ahead. Failure is an essential part of growth. You don't grow by staying safe and avoiding risks. You grow by failing, learning, and trying again. Don't be afraid of failure. Embrace it as part of the journey.